I think we're looking at a lost technology. This ancient apocalypse, 12,800 years ago, wiped that from the human memory banks.
Graham Hancock, known for his groundbreaking theories on lost civilizations and ancient mysteries, has always been at the forefront of challenging our understanding of history. His theories, which bridge the gap between myth and reality, have captivated millions around the globe. But what's just happened in Egypt has taken even Hancock by surprise. Join us as we unravel the mystery of Graham Hancock's latest revelation. You won't believe what just happened in Egypt. The mysteries of Egypt's timeless guardian. The Great Sphinx of Giza, a mesmerizing marvel of ancient Egyptian civilization, has captivated the imagination of scholars, tourists, and mystery enthusiasts for over 4,500 years. Carved from a single limestone ridge, this monumental statue, with the head of a pharaoh, believed by many to represent Pharaoh Khafre, and the body of a lion, symbolizes strength, wisdom, and the divine power of the sun. Positioned strategically on the Giza Plateau, it serves as a silent sentinel guarding the pyramids, its gaze fixed eternally to the east, towards the rising sun, embodying the ancient Egyptian belief in rebirth and eternity. Over the millennia, its weathered features have sparked countless theories and debates. Was the Sphinx built by Khafre around 2500 BCE, or does it date back even further to a lost civilization, as some alternative historians propose? The deep erosion patterns on its body have led some experts, like geologist Robert Schoch, to suggest that it could be thousands of years older than traditionally thought, dating back to an era of heavy rainfall in Egypt's distant past. These ideas have fueled controversy and inspired numerous artistic interpretations, reinforcing the Sphinx's status as one of the world's most recognizable and mysterious monuments. Now, the recent claims by Graham Hancock, a well-known author and proponent of alternative archaeology, are creating even more excitement. Hancock argues that the Sphinx is not an isolated structure, but part of a much larger, sophisticated, ancient complex. He believes this complex was deliberately aligned with significant astronomical and geographical features, such as the constellation of Leo during the vernal equinox around 10,500 BCE, a theory known as the Orion correlation theory. According to Hancock, this alignment hints at a much earlier construction date and suggests a lost chapter in human history, where ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering long before conventional history was acknowledged. He proposes that the way the Sphinx is positioned with the pyramids might be a deliberate design to align with certain celestial events or significant landmarks. This could indicate a highly advanced knowledge of astronomy and geography, suggesting that the construction of the Sphinx might date back to a time much earlier than commonly believed. Graham also delved into ancient texts and records, which he thinks provide clues about an older civilization that was aware of the Sphinx. He examined numerous historical documents and mythological accounts describing advanced knowledge and ancient structures, arguing that mainstream archaeology has often dismissed or overlooked these records. Graham believes these documents could support the idea of a much older origin for the Sphinx. He contends that many mainstream scholars have been quick to dismiss or ignore evidence that could challenge established historical timelines and interpretations. According to him, this unwillingness to reconsider traditional views on the Sphinx and other ancient monuments creates a major roadblock to uncovering their true history. Determined to change this, Graham decided to share his findings with the world, hoping to shed light on what he believes is the real story behind these ancient wonders. The Great Guardian's origin and purpose. The exact date and reason behind the construction of the Sphinx are still hotly debated among Egyptologists and historians. Traditional views, supported by mainstream archaeology, suggest that the Sphinx was built around 2500 BC during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre of the Old Kingdom, a period known as the Fourth Dynasty. This era was marked by impressive architectural feats, including the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. According to the most widely accepted theory, the Sphinx was carved from a single block of limestone that was left over from quarrying stone blocks for the nearby pyramids. Creating the Sphinx would have been a colossal project, requiring immense labor and advanced engineering skills, highlighting the impressive capabilities of ancient Egyptian civilization. The construction process itself was monumental. Skilled craftsmen and laborers used copper chisels, bronze tools, wooden rollers, sleds, ramps, and levers to carve and transport the massive limestone blocks. The fine details of the Sphinx's face and headdress would have been carefully sculpted, likely under the direct supervision of the pharaoh's master craftsmen. The entire process is believed to have taken many years, with thousands of workers dedicating their lives to creating this awe-inspiring monument. The purpose behind the creation of the Great Sphinx of Giza remains one of history's most intriguing mysteries, captivating scholars and enthusiasts alike. This colossal statue, carved from a single piece of limestone, stands 66 feet tall and stretches 240 feet from its head to its tail. Its creation is surrounded by fascinating theories and interpretations. Most Egyptologists believe the Sphinx was constructed as a guardian figure, designed to protect the Giza necropolis, where the pharaoh's tombs are located. This majestic figure, with the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh, symbolizes strength and wisdom. Its role was likely to serve as a spiritual sentinel, warding off malevolent forces and ensuring the eternal peace of the pharaohs interred in the nearby pyramids. In addition to its protective role, some scholars argue that the Sphinx may have had significant astronomical functions. Its alignment with the sun suggests it could have been used to mark important celestial events. For instance, it may have been oriented to align with the summer solstice or the equinoxes, serving as a cosmic calendar for ancient Egyptians. Another interesting theory connects the Sphinx to religious rituals. The statue's east-facing gaze aligns perfectly with the sunrise, which may have been a deliberate design to honor the sun god Ra. Each morning, the Sphinx would greet the rising sun, possibly playing a central role in sunrise ceremonies that celebrated the deity and symbolized renewal and rebirth. The Sphinx is also deeply intertwined with the divine status of the pharaohs. According to most scholars, the Sphinx is attributed to Pharaoh Khafra, who ruled during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom. Khafra is also credited with building the second largest pyramid at Giza, known as the Pyramid of Khafre. The connection between the Sphinx and Khafra's pyramid complex is based on several compelling factors. First, the Sphinx's location near Khafre's pyramids suggests a significant link. Additionally, the Sphinx's facial features bear a striking resemblance to known statues of Khafra. Another important factor is the ancient Egyptian tradition of representing pharaohs as sphinxes. In Egyptian mythology, the Sphinx was a mythical creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human. This combination was deeply symbolic. The lion's body symbolized strength and power, while the human head represented wisdom and divine leadership. The Sphinx was closely associated with Ra, the sun god, and the pharaoh, who was seen as Ra's earthly representative. This fusion of human and animal traits reflected the pharaoh's dual role as both a mortal leader and a divine being. It was a central idea in ancient Egyptian religion and politics, illustrating the pharaoh's authority and divine right to rule. Thus, the Sphinx served as a powerful emblem of the pharaoh's strength and wisdom, blending the might of the lion with the insight and divine legitimacy of human rulership. The secrets of ancient worship. Over time, the religious significance of the Sphinx evolved dramatically during the New Kingdom period, which spanned from around 1550 to 1070 BC. During this era, the Sphinx became linked with the gods Ma'at and Horus of the horizon. This connection led to the construction of temples and stelae around the Sphinx, turning the area into a significant site for worship and pilgrimage. The Sphinx also became associated with other deities from the Egyptian pantheon, such as Khepri, a form of Horus connected with the rising sun, and Atum, the god of creation and the setting sun. These associations with the sun are underscored by the Sphinx's east-facing position, allowing it to greet the rising sun every day, symbolizing a renewal of creation and royal power. Archaeological excavations and studies have provided valuable insights into the Sphinx's history, construction, and significance. One of the most important artifacts related to the Sphinx is the Dream Stele, erected by Pharaoh Thutmose IV around 1400 BC. This granite slab, placed between the Sphinx's paws, tells a fascinating story. According to the stele, the Sphinx, speaking as the god Harmachis, appeared to Thutmose IV in a dream and promised him the throne of Egypt if he would clear the sand that had buried the monument. This stele not only sheds light on New Kingdom attitudes toward the Sphinx, but also confirms that by the 15th century BC, the monument was already considered ancient and partially buried. Another fascinating discovery is the inventory stele, unearthed in the 19th century by French archaeologist Auguste Mariette. This limestone tablet, dating back to approximately 670 BC, was found in the Temple of Karnak. It mentions the Sphinx and attributes its construction to a time long before Pharaoh Khufu's reign, suggesting that the monument predates Khufu's famous pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The stele's historical claims have sparked intense debate among scholars. Some argue that it provides evidence of an older Sphinx than previously thought, challenging the traditional dating of the monument. To investigate these claims, researchers have studied the Sphinx's limestone composition and its weathering patterns. These analyses have revealed clues about the environmental conditions the Sphinx has endured, such as centuries of erosion from wind and sandstorms. Studies of the Sphinx's weathering suggest that it may have been exposed to heavy rainfall during a period when the region was wetter than it is today. This has led to theories about a much older Sphinx, possibly predating the ancient Egyptian civilization. Additionally, researchers have noted the presence of water erosion on the monument's base, which might date back to a time when the climate was more humid. Archaeological work has also uncovered evidence of numerous restoration projects over the millennia. For instance, inscriptions from the New Kingdom reveal that pharaohs like Thutmose IV, who ruled around 1400 BC, undertook major restoration efforts to repair the Sphinx, which was already showing signs of wear by then. During the late period and Roman era, further modifications and repairs were carried out, highlighting the monument's ongoing significance. These findings underscore the Sphinx's importance throughout Egyptian history, reflecting the monument's status as a symbol of enduring power and legacy. The continuous efforts to preserve the Sphinx demonstrate the lasting reverence and commitment to safeguarding this iconic symbol of ancient Egypt. Recent technological advancements have unlocked fascinating new insights into the Great Sphinx of Giza. For centuries, this colossal statue has stood as one of Egypt's most enigmatic symbols. Archaeological research using advanced imaging techniques and microscopic analysis has uncovered intriguing details about the Sphinx's original appearance. Evidence, including traces of pigments, reveals that the Sphinx was once vibrantly painted in hues of red, blue, and yellow. Imagine the Sphinx's limestone body adorned in a rich red and blue palette. Its massive form contrasted sharply against the golden sands of the Giza Plateau. The Sphinx's headdress, once a striking blue with blue and yellow stripes, would have made it even more imposing and visually striking in the ancient landscape. This vivid coloration not only showcased the Sphinx's grandeur, but also reflected the sophisticated artistic skills of ancient Egyptian artisans. In addition to these revelations, researchers have discovered that the Sphinx's original colors were not just for aesthetic purposes, but also played a role in its symbolic significance. The colors likely had ceremonial or religious meanings, connecting the Sphinx with Egyptian gods and rituals. Sacred significance of the Sphinx of Giza. The Great Sphinx of Giza is a truly awe-inspiring monument, celebrated not only for its rich history, but also for its impressive physical attributes and unique design. This enormous statue has withstood thousands of years of environmental challenges and human interventions, each leaving its mark on this iconic figure. The Sphinx is among the largest single stone statues in the world. It stretches about 240 feet from its front paws to its tail and stands approximately 66 feet tall from the base to the top of its head. Its commanding presence dominates the Giza Plateau, with its face measuring around 13 feet across and its paws extending about 50 feet in length. These vast dimensions contribute to the Sphinx's majestic and mysterious aura, making it a wonder for visitors from across the ages, including the well-known researcher Graham Hancock. Carved from a single piece of limestone, the Sphinx showcases the remarkable skill and engineering expertise of ancient Egyptian craftsmen. The limestone used for this monumental sculpture comes from the Mom Formation, which dates back around 50 million years to the Eocene epoch. This limestone consists of layers of both soft and hard rock, which has had a significant impact on how the Sphinx has weathered over the centuries and on its preservation today. The Sphinx is a monumental masterpiece that combines human and lion features to create a truly unique and formidable image. This iconic structure, which stands on the Giza Plateau, is widely believed to represent Pharaoh Khafre, although some Egyptologists argue that it might be another ruler or a composite figure. The human head of the Sphinx is adorned with the traditional Nim's headdress, a striped cloth worn by pharaohs as a symbol of their divine rule. The uraeus, a stylized cobra on the forehead, further emphasizes the pharaoh's royal authority and protective power, reflecting ancient Egyptian beliefs in the divine nature of their kings. The lion's body of the Sphinx, which signifies strength and majesty, is depicted in a relaxed, reclining posture with its paws extended forward. This specific pose, known as the Sphinx position, has been replicated in various Sphinx statues throughout ancient Egyptian history, from the temples of Karnak to the tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Intriguingly, the Sphinx's body displays detailed anatomical features, including well-defined shoulders, a prominent ribcage, and remnants of a tail that curls around the right hind leg. The Sphinx is also carved from a single block of limestone, and its original color was likely bright, with traces of red pigment suggesting it might have been painted to enhance its visual impact. In addition, recent studies have shown that the Sphinx was likely surrounded by a complex of temples and ceremonial pathways, hinting at its central role in ancient Egyptian religious practices. Its alignment with celestial events, such as the rising sun, further suggests that it was not just a symbol of royal power, but also a sacred guardian connected to the universe. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the heart of the Egyptian desert, where the sands whisper ancient secrets, renowned archaeologist Graham Hancock stood, his eyes wide with disbelief. Just days before, a mysterious discovery had emerged from the shifting dunes, a hidden chamber beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. It all started when a team of local excavators, guided by a map from an old tomb raider's journal, stumbled upon a stone slab buried deep in the sand. As they carefully pried it open, a tunnel emerged, leading to a forgotten chamber. Hancock, already in Egypt for an unrelated project, was called in for a first-hand look. Descending into the chamber, Hancock's flashlight revealed walls adorned with inscriptions not seen in any known hieroglyphics. They told a story of a lost civilization that had predated the Egyptians, claiming to possess advanced knowledge of astronomy and technology that far surpassed their time. At the center of the chamber lay a peculiar artifact, a crystal orb that seemed to pulsate with a faint, otherworldly glow. As Hancock examined the orb, the room's temperature plummeted, and the inscriptions began to shimmer. Suddenly, a holographic image projected onto the walls, a celestial map of stars and constellations that seemed to align perfectly with the modern sky. It was as if the ancient architects had left a cosmic message for future explorers. Hancock's heart raced. This discovery, he realized, might rewrite history. It hinted at a forgotten civilization that bridged the gap between the known and the unknown, challenging everything scholars believed about human history and technology. Could this lost civilization have influenced other ancient cultures around the world? Let us have your opinions in the comment below. The truth behind Great Sphinx's missing nose. One of the most striking features of the Great Sphinx of Giza, or more accurately, the feature that is notably missing, is its nose. The absence of the Sphinx's nose has sparked many theories and legends over the centuries. Contrary to a popular myth, Napoleon's troops did not shoot off the nose during their Egyptian campaign from 1798 to 1801. This misconception is easily debunked by the fact that drawings of the Sphinx missing its nose predate Napoleon by several centuries. So, what happened to the nose? Historical records and archaeological findings suggest that the nose was destroyed much earlier. One of the earliest accounts comes from the 15th century Arab historian al-Makrizi. He attributed the damage to a Sufi Muslim named Muhammad Sa'im al-Dar. According to al-Makrizi, in 1378 AD, Muhammad was infuriated by local peasants who were making offerings to the Sphinx in hopes of improving their harvest. Viewing this as a form of idolatry, Muhammad reportedly vandalized the Sphinx's nose as an act of iconoclasm. However, some scholars believe the nose might have been destroyed even earlier. Examination of the damaged area indicates that tools were used to remove the nose deliberately, rather than it being worn away by natural causes. Various theories attempt to explain the missing nose of the Great Sphinx of Giza. One theory suggests that the nose may have been removed during the Arab invasion of Egypt in the 7th century. Others propose that the damage could have occurred even earlier, during the Roman period, when early Christians defaced some pagan monuments. Regardless of when or how it happened, the missing nose has significantly altered the Sphinx's appearance, becoming a key element of its mysterious and iconic image. Its absence has only added to the allure of the monument, leading visitors to speculate about how the Sphinx might have looked originally. Apart from the missing nose, the Sphinx has faced numerous preservation challenges over the millennia. The soft limestone from which it was carved is particularly vulnerable to erosion caused by wind, sand, and moisture. Throughout its long history, the monument has undergone several major restorations. One of the earliest recorded restorations dates back to around 1400 BC, when Thutmose IV cleared away the sand that had buried much of the Sphinx and added masonry blocks to repair the damage. In modern times, restoration efforts have become increasingly scientific and comprehensive, aiming to preserve this ancient wonder for future generations. Between 1925 and 1936, a major restoration project was led by French engineer Émile Barizy. This effort focused on clearing away centuries of accumulated sand and adding large limestone blocks to support and protect the core structure of the Sphinx. However, it wasn't until the late 20th and early 21st centuries that the most thorough restoration work began. In 1981, a significant restoration project was launched under the guidance of Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass. This extensive project unfolded in phases over several decades, addressing various threats to the Sphinx's integrity. One major concern was moisture damage. Groundwater seepage and high humidity were causing the limestone to flake and crumble. To tackle this, drainage systems were installed around the Sphinx to lower the groundwater levels. Additionally, modern scientific techniques were used to analyze the stone and develop suitable conservation methods. The restoration team focused on replacing many of the ancient and recent repair blocks that had been added to the Sphinx over the years. Some of these older repairs, especially those using cement, were causing more harm by trapping moisture inside the stone. The new restoration used limestone blocks that matched the original stone better, allowing the structure to breathe more naturally and improving its overall preservation. Recent restoration efforts on the Sphinx have paid special attention to its chest area, which is constructed from softer limestone that has suffered extensive damage over the centuries. This part of the statue has been particularly vulnerable to erosion from wind, sand, and water. The restorers have painstakingly replaced the deteriorated stone with new limestone blocks, carefully selected to match the original material. This process aims to preserve the Sphinx's historical appearance while ensuring its structural stability. These restoration efforts have significantly improved the Sphinx's condition and appearance. While some critics argue that such interventions might compromise the monument's historical authenticity, experts believe that without these repairs, the Sphinx could face serious and potentially irreversible damage. The restoration work has not only involved repairing visible damage, but also reinforcing the underlying structure to prevent future problems. The restoration of the Sphinx has provided valuable insights into ancient Egyptian construction techniques. For instance, studies of the various layers of restoration reveal how ancient builders used specific methods to maintain their monuments. This includes the use of sophisticated tools and techniques for carving and assembling large stone blocks. Additionally, the restoration has uncovered evidence of ancient repair methods, such as the use of mortar made from a mixture of limestone and sand, which helps researchers understand the construction practices of the time. Despite these extensive restoration efforts, the Sphinx remains vulnerable to ongoing environmental threats. Air pollution from nearby Cairo, vibrations caused by road traffic and aircraft, and the impacts of climate change all pose risks to the monument's long-term preservation. Interestingly, Graham Hancock suggests that the Sphinx may have endured significant climate challenges long before modern times. According to Hancock, evidence points to ancient climate shifts that might have affected the Sphinx's preservation. Graham Hancock's shocking revelation. When Graham Hancock claimed that people wouldn't believe what just happened in Egypt, he was serious. Hancock, a British writer and journalist known for his unconventional views on ancient civilizations, has been a vocal critic of the mainstream theories about the Great Sphinx of Giza. His ideas, especially his water erosion theory, have sparked both fascination and debate. This theory suggests that the Sphinx, often believed to have been shaped primarily by wind and sand erosion, actually shows signs of water erosion. Hancock has discussed his theory extensively in his books and public appearances, including on the popular Joe Rogan Experience podcast. During his recent appearance on Joe Rogan's show, he presented new evidence that he claims supports his theory. He captivated listeners by diving deep into his interpretation of the Sphinx's history. Hancock's argument is built around the idea that the weathering patterns on the Sphinx and its surrounding enclosure suggest water erosion, rather than the wind and sand erosion typically proposed by mainstream Egyptologists. His theory extends the work of Dr. Robert Schoch, a geologist from Boston University, who first suggested the water erosion hypothesis in the early 1990s. According to this theory, the deep vertical cracks seen on the Sphinx's walls are a result of long-term exposure to heavy rainfall. Hancock argues that this type of heavy precipitation is inconsistent with Egypt's arid climate over the past 5,000 years, the period when the Sphinx is conventionally believed to have been built. Instead, he proposes that the Sphinx could be much older than we currently believe, potentially dating back to around 10,500 BC, a time when the climate in the region was considerably wetter. This suggestion becomes particularly fascinating because this period aligns with the end of the last ice age, known as the Younger Dryas, which was marked by significant climate changes. If this theory holds, it would mean the Sphinx is thousands of years older than the widely accepted date of around 2,500 BC. In his conversation with Joe Rogan, Graham highlighted the profound implications of this theory. If the Sphinx is indeed from such an ancient period, it would imply the existence of a highly advanced civilization capable of monumental construction long before the rise of dynastic Egypt. This idea challenges the current archaeological timeline and prompts us to rethink the origins of human civilization. If such advanced knowledge existed back then and we've only just begun to uncover it, our understanding of the past could be far more incomplete than people thought. One of the most captivating parts of Graham's discussion on the Joe Rogan Experience was his mention of Dr. Robert Schoch's seismic surveys of the Sphinx. According to Schoch, these surveys found intriguing evidence of a man-made cavity beneath the left paw of the Great Sphinx. If these findings are confirmed, they could drastically alter our understanding of how and why this monumental structure was built. Seismic readings conducted by Dr. Schoch have uncovered a rectangular chamber beneath the Sphinx, measuring approximately 12 meters by 9 meters. This intriguing discovery has reignited the debate about the true age and purpose of the Sphinx. Graham, a prominent researcher in the field, suggests that this finding could indicate the Sphinx is far older than traditionally thought. He proposes that the chamber might have been used for purposes that remain a mystery to contemporary scholars. Graham also assumes that it could house important artifacts or records from a highly advanced civilization that predates known Egyptian history. Adding to the mystery, recent studies have shown that the Sphinx's body has unusual weathering patterns, which some believe could indicate a much older construction date. These patterns differ from those seen on other monuments in the Giza Plateau and might suggest that the Sphinx was exposed to water erosion, possibly hinting at a time when the area was much wetter than it is today. However, Graham's theories have been met with substantial doubt from the mainstream Egyptological community. Two notable critics are Dr. Zahi Hawass, the former Minister of State for Antiquities Affairs in Egypt, and Dr. Mark Lehner, an American archaeologist renowned for his extensive work on ancient Egypt. Dr. Hawass, known for his authoritative and sometimes controversial views, argues that the weathering on the Sphinx can be adequately explained by known geological processes and the monument's exposure to wind and sand over the past 4,500 years. Dr. Hawass argues that there is no archaeological or written evidence to support the idea of an advanced civilization in Egypt at the time suggested by Graham Hancock. Dr. Mark Lehner, a well-respected archaeologist who has spent decades studying the Giza Plateau, also rejects the theory that the Sphinx shows signs of water erosion. He explains that the limestone used to carve the Sphinx is naturally prone to weathering, and the patterns seen on the monument align with typical wind and sand erosion, as well as the effects of morning dew and occasional rain over thousands of years. Lehner emphasizes that the Sphinx's archaeological context, including its connection to nearby structures and artifacts, firmly places its construction during Egypt's 4th dynasty. The debate over the age of the Sphinx has been further muddied by controversies involving core drilling in the 1990s. A team led by John Anthony West and Robert Schoch conducted geological studies on the Sphinx, which included taking core samples from the monument and its surrounding enclosure. These samples were meant to provide information on the weathering patterns and the characteristics of the limestone. However, these drilling activities faced significant resistance from Egyptian authorities and some members of the archaeological community, who argued that the drilling could damage the ancient monument and that the proper procedures for such invasive research had not been followed. Graham Hancock has often cited these core drilling controversies as evidence of resistance to new ideas within the archaeological establishment. He claims that the reluctance to permit further geological testing on the Sphinx reflects a desire to preserve the traditional views of Egyptology rather than a true concern for protecting the monument. What are your thoughts about Graham Hancock's latest revelation? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below.